Now on WKRG News 5.
A woman found dead inside a cargo trailer is identified as a person missing for over a month. And one of the Gulf Coast's biggest fishing tournaments is underway, and we already have a fish over 500 pounds.
Well, it's a beautiful start to the day, but we're cranking up the heat. News 5 at 9 o'clock starts right now.
Local coverage you can count on. You're watching WKRG News 5 at 9.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for News 5 at 9. I'm Devin Walsh. First on 5, a crime alert in Pensacola where police are investigating the murder of a woman who was reported missing a month ago. The body of Cassandra Robinson was found Wednesday night in a cargo trailer near the intersection of 65th Avenue and Fairfield Drive. Robinson was last seen leaving her daughter's birthday party back in February. Her family reported her missing about a month ago. Now, the suspect in this case is already in jail on other charges. His name hasn't been released. Neighbors in the area are shocked.
Well, like I said, I mean, just for somebody to find a person's body over here in a storage trailer just 500 feet from where I live, that's a little bit scary. So
it's saddening to know that the world has gone the way it's gone. It's just, and people do this kind of stuff. It's crazy. They just have no self-respect or respect for anybody else.
An autopsy will be performed to determine how Robinson died. Now, updating a story we brought you yesterday, we have confirmed with Mobile Police that Ronnie Anderson is charged in connection with a shooting Wednesday night. 2 people were wounded in that shooting on Thompson Drive. It's not far from Eichhold Mertz Elementary School. Anderson is facing 2 counts of assault and firing a gun into an occupied building or vehicle. New this morning, a former death row inmate from Mobile County is expected to be in court today on a theft charge. 43-year-old William Ziegler is accused of stealing a car. A warrant was placed for his arrest, charging him with theft of property first degree. He was arrested Wednesday in Baldwin County. Back in 2015, Ziegler was released from death row after pleading guilty to aiding and abetting in the murder of Russell Baker in Mobile County 18 years ago. A Mobile County judge gave him credit for the more than 15 years he had already served in prison. Former Judge Roy Moore claims he was duped by the host and crew of a new Showtime series called Who is America? Sacha Cohen, who played Borat, as well as other undercover characters in previous movies, has a new show where he goes undercover and interviews specifically conservative politicians. Roy Moore claimed on Facebook he was tricked into believing he was invited to Washington, D.C. to receive an award for his strong support of Israel ahead of the 70th anniversary of the nation. He said in the past, quote, "I did not know Sacha Cohen or a Showtime TV series planned to embarrass, humiliate, and mock not only Israel, but other religious conservatives." Other politicians have come out against the move by Cohen and Showtime, including Sarah Palin and Joe Walsh. Dick Cheney was also interviewed for that series. A man from Mobile has been sentenced in a motorcycle crash that killed a 4-year-old boy. Roland Guy was sentenced to a year in prison for criminally negligent homicide. Testimony showed 4-year-old Soterio Osborne was killed in May of 2016 when he was hit by Guy's motorcycle. Investigators say Guy was driving fast and recklessly when he hit Osborne on Alba Club Road. Happening today, a press conference to announce new developments in the investigation into a chemical spill in 8 Mile. A press conference will be held this morning where it will be announced that the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, is investigating the Mercaptan spill in 8 Mile and its health effects. HUD will try and determine if the spill constitutes a fair housing violation. 10 years ago, lightning struck a remote Mercaptan storage tank in 8 Mile. It may have leaked for months before it was discovered, and no one knows just how much of that chemical seeped into the ground. Residents filed suit against Mobile Gas, and most settled their claims. One of the biggest fishing tournaments of the year is happening right now in Orange Beach. The Blue Marlin Grand Championship is underway at the wharf. News 5's Katarina Lukatich gives us a look at the first marlin brought in.
The first blue marlin of the Grand Championship just came in not too long ago. Take a look at this. It weighs just about 5 times as much as I do. The fish was nearly 110 inches in length and weighed 507 pounds. A group called QuickTime reeled it in from about 100 miles offshore. They brought it to be weighed in this morning so they can go back out on the water and try to catch an even bigger blue marlin. Again, this was the first blue marlin brought in for the 2018 season of this Blue Marlin Grand Championship. The next weigh-in is 5 until 8 tonight here at the wharf in Orange Beach. Katerina Lukatich, WKRG News 5.
Well, the Navy's Blue Angels are ready to put on their annual Red, White, and Blue show on Pensacola Beach. The Blues wow a crowd yesterday on Pensacola Beach as they practiced their maneuvers that they were going to perform in Saturday's show. The event draws a lot of fans from across the country who have rented hotel rooms and condos and made a week of it. Locals will hop on their boats and enjoy the show from the water. A full dress rehearsal for tomorrow's show will be held today starting at noon. The Blues take flight at 2 o'clock on both days. Don't forget the 2018 Pensacola Beach Air Show begins tomorrow at noon, and News 5 has put together a guide of everything you need to know about the show. It's on our website, WKRG.com. It is time now to check the forecast. A lot happening this weekend in the skies specifically. Meteorologist Thomas Keyboy in for John Nodar this morning. Good morning, Thomas.
Well, good morning, Devin. So far this morning, it has been a nice start. We've seen plenty of blue skies, and we were also treated to a beautiful sunrise this morning. This is from Dauphin Street looking towards downtown Mobile. You get a nice burst of the colors, and then through today, so far, we've mainly been treated to mostly sunny skies, but we're starting to see a few of those cumulus clouds begin to bubble up. A few of those might produce a few showers later on, but the chance of rain today, a little bit lower than what you would normally expect. At Pensacola International Airport, it's 86 degrees, but that heat index already in the middle 90s. It's going to be toasty outside today, folks. A little bit of relief out there in the way of rain. The best chance of rain throughout the rest of this morning will be closer to the coast, but as you can tell, the shower's not really lasting all that long. Our forecast will see those temperatures climb into the lower and middle 90s for highs, but those heat index values much warmer than that. Only a 20% chance of rain, so not much relief out there. Just keep an eye on the radar just in case. So our forecast headlines include plenty of heat, only a few showers. We'll see a few more this weekend, and the tropics, they're quieter for now. We'll talk about all of this coming up in your forecast in only a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Thomas. News 5 is your local election headquarters. A judge has dismissed an ethics lawsuit filed by former Alabama Attorney General Troy King against current Attorney General Steve Marshall. After the ruling against him yesterday, Republican Attorney General candidate Troy King says he now plans to take his fight to the people of Alabama.
They may think that the state of Alabama's elections are for sale. They're wrong. The only thing they're right about is that the Attorney General of Alabama is bought and sold for.
King says funds given to Steve Marshall by Republican Attorneys General Association are illegal and violate Alabama's law prohibiting PAC-to-PAC transfers. Steve Marshall was not in court yesterday, but his campaign sent us this statement. It says Troy King has abused the judicial and ethics process this week to stage a political stunt. He did so routinely as Attorney General, and Republicans fired him in 2010 because of it, end quote. We will have complete election coverage you can count on air, online, and on social media leading up to the runoff next Tuesday. Coming up, we'll have the latest on the cleanup and the investigation of that train derailment in Escambia County, Alabama. Stay with us.
If you can't talk, text 911. Prevent underage drinking before it happens.
For over 30 years, I've been telling everyone injured in car wrecks to make that one call.
After my accident, I called Morris Bart for free. He got me $100,000 on my case.
I'm calling Morris Bart.
Now it's your turn to call. One call, that's all.
Where the best of the South meets the best of entertainment. Beau Rivage, a feeling like no other.
Folks, Hanks is proud to introduce stressless recliners. I have been selling reclining chairs for over 40 years, and Stressless builds the finest quality and absolutely the most comfortable reclining chair I have ever seen.
For a limited time, we're offering $500 savings on our best-selling models, plus interest-free financing.
Exclusively at Hanks Fine Furniture.
Judge Maybelline is back.
What you trying to say? You want him to pay what it truly would have cost without your deal?
Justice with Judge Maybelline.
Today at 4 on the Gulf Coast CW.
Twinkle, twinkle, big swamp star, career politician and lobbyist you are. Voted for the largest tax in state history, $1 billion from you and me. Twinkle even cut deals for special interest dough, a career politician, lobbyist, new low.
Twinkle Kavanaugh, a career politician, lobbyist, bureaucrat who raised taxes. Their star, not ours.
Hey, Morris Bart, I just wanted to thank you. I don't know what I'd do after my accident without you.
You may be like James. He was injured in a car wreck and called. We got him $160,000. Just call me. One call, that's all.
You're watching WKRG News 5, local coverage you can count on, with Devin Walsh and meteorologist John Nodar. This is WKRG News 5 at 9.
Welcome back to News 5 at 9. Things are back to normal this morning on Highway 31 in Escambia County, Alabama. The road's back open after being shut down for nearly 24 hours because of a train derailment. 6 cars went off the track between Atmore and Flomaton, and crews worked around the clock to clear the scene and repair the damaged track. The derailment also created a backup for the rail system, delaying rail shipments throughout the region. We are still working to find out what caused the train to run off the tracks. Because no one was hurt, CSX will conduct the investigation instead of the NTSB. Well, 2 pieces of good news this morning involving our community and the fight against childhood cancer. First, the latest scans for 2-year-old Easton Caraway show he is cancer-free. You'll remember Easton is the son of a Foley firefighter. We featured his story here on News 5. Also, this is great. The employees of O'Charlie's in Foley have presented a check to the St. Jude runners for almost $20,000. The group runs from Memphis to Mobile to raise money for St. Jude Hospital.
It's just amazing, like amazing. Like I'm shocked. Like I just want to thank everybody that, like all the employees, the guests, everybody that chipped in and helped us out, raise all this money for these kids.
Raphael Petway is not only an employee of O'Charlie's, he's also a St. Jude runner. Over 8 years, the runners have raised more than $800,000. Still to come, President Trump visits the UK this morning as thousands in England protest his visit. More on that and more next.
Weeknights on MeTV. Watch The Jeffersons at 5:30, MASH at 6, and Gomer Pyle at 7. You can find MeTV over the air and on these and other providers.
It's Black Friday in July at Belk. Over 200 doorbusters, plus extra doorbusters this weekend. Save on home, jewelry, shoes, and more. 25% off designer handbags, $5 kids lightning bug, $39.99 bed in a bag. Redeem your Belk bucks with no brand exclusions at Belk and Belk.com.
When President Trump promised tax cuts, Twinkle Kavanaugh promised that those savings would go back into the pockets of hard-working Alabamians. Both President Trump and Twinkle Kavanaugh lived up to their promises. $337 million back to electricity customers. Base electric rates frozen for 2 years. The lowest natural gas rates in a decade. President Trump and Twinkle Kavanaugh. Promises made, promises kept. Twinkle Kavanaugh for Lieutenant Governor.
Now's the time to buy at Pensacola Honda's Summer Spectacular event. Beat the crowd and get your best deal while selections last. And service prices are no different. Right now, with temperatures heating up, let us do a complete AC performance check for just $59.88. Plus, receive 15% off any service or repair over $1,000. And there's no appointment necessary. Relax and enjoy the no-pressure buying experience. The Honda Summer Spectacular event going on now at Pensacola Honda. Home of the one price, low price guarantee.
Troy King and liberal Democrats spreading fake news and lacking basic civility.
I'm Attorney General Steve Marshall. Alabama needs a leader who will work with President Trump and protect our way of life. I'm a pro-life Christian conservative. I've defended the Second Amendment, and I've cracked down on sanctuary cities. I'm the only candidate that's actually stood with President Trump in the Oval Office to discuss how we end illegal immigration.
Republican Steve Marshall.
It's Black Friday in July at Bell. Over 200 doorbusters, plus extra doorbusters this weekend. Save on home, jewelry, shoes, and more. 25% off designer handbags, $5 kids lightning bug, $39.99 bed in a bag. Redeem your Belk bucks with no brand exclusions at Belk and Belk.com.
President Trump is now on the second leg of his European trip, leaving behind a combative NATO summit. But he has brought with him to England more chaos following a new interview with a British tabloid. CBS's Gwen Baumgartner is in London, where thousands of protesters are on the streets today.
President Trump met with British Prime Minister Theresa May at her country retreat outside of London.
The enduring relationship between our nations has never been stronger than it is now.
The meeting and working lunch follows yesterday's release of an interview the president did with the British tabloid The Sun. He said May's Brexit plans could ruin future trade deals with the U.S.
I actually told Theresa May how to do it, but she didn't agree with it. She didn't listen to me.
The UK-US relationship is also defined by the role we play on the world stage, and sometimes being prepared to say things that others might rather not hear. From the outset, President Trump has been clear about how he sees the challenges we face.
The majority of President Trump's two-day visit is being held away from central London. Thousands of demonstrators are out on the streets of London today to protest his visit.
When they make you feel unwelcome, why would I say there? Now, and when I say that, I'm talking about government, because the people of the UK agree with me.
Protesters inflated a giant balloon known as the Trump baby to float along while they march.
I think it stands for the way that we deal with things we don't like. British values is everything about decency, and Trump just isn't a decent man.
Later today, the president and first lady will have tea with Queen Elizabeth.
And that was Gwen Baumgartner reporting. Adult film star Stormy Daniels was back at work at an Ohio strip club last night, a day after being arrested. Her lawyer called the arrest a setup. Charges against Daniels were dropped with an apology from the Columbus police chief. Daniels has filed lawsuits against President Trump for defamation and against his former lawyer over an alleged hush agreement. Well, moments before a gunman started firing in a Nashville area Waffle House back in April, a group of friends almost sat directly in the line of fire. A server asked them to sit somewhere else, and one mother is indebted to her for what she says saved her son's life. Kathleen Siri has the story.
Vicki Davis's son, Michael Garth, was in the Antioch Waffle House in April when police say Travis Rain King opened fire, killing 4 people. Moments before that tragedy shook Middle Tennessee, waitress Virginia Stanley asked Garth for a simple favor.
But him and one of his friends were there eating, and they were about to sit down to eat, and Miss Virginia asked him to move his seat because she was about to wash dishes. And that move pretty much saved his life.
Out of the line of fire, Garth was able to go home to his 4 kids, his wife, and his mother.
Praising God that he was alive.
Davis didn't stop there. After hearing her son's story, she made it her mission to find Stanley. When she did, she decided to thank the engaged waitress with something she'd never forget, a beautiful wedding dress.
She went the extra mile. She didn't know, or maybe the Lord had shown her that to tell my son to move his seat. I don't know. But she was the angel that helped save my son's life. So I don't have an option but to try to bless her in any which way that I can.
Davis reaching out to Glitz Bridal to see if they would donate a dress. After they said yes, so did Stanley. Davis also getting to meet the woman who she says saved her son's life.
We hugged and we cried and we cried and we hugged.
And Davis says her gratitude for Stanley isn't stopping here.
I thank her for helping save my son's life, and that I'm here to help her in any way that I can. But she's not going to walk this walk alone, but I'm here to help her.
And that was Kathleen Siri reporting. Again, Davis's son has a wife and 4 kids that he was able to go home to that tragic night. A special one-day promotion at Build-A-Bears around the country quickly got out of hand yesterday. Long lines formed outside the Pay Your Age event. This is the store there in Malbus. Children paid their age for stuffed animals that can cost more than $30. By midday, the crowds were so big that the company pulled the plug. Well, now they're offering $15 vouchers to all rewards members.
Now, meteorologist Thomas Gieboy with your First Alert Storm Team forecast.
And happy Friday, Gulf Coast. It might be Friday the 13th, but the weather today isn't going to be all that unlucky. As we've gone through this morning, we've waken up to some nice dry conditions. There have been a few light showers around, but all in all, they really haven't lasted all that long. Just a few puffy cumulus clouds here on the Alpha Insurance Skycam from Dolphin Street looking towards downtown Mobile. A nice image there in the background. And if you decide to go to the beach, a lot of folks will be going to the beach to check out the Blues and also the Blue Marlin Grand Championship today. More of those puffy cumulus clouds, but plenty of blue skies as well. You might not find a shower today, but what you will find will be some heat. It's already 86 in Mobile, 88 in Pascagoula, 86 in Pensacola, and 87 in Destin. When you throw on the humidity, it already feels much warmer than it currently is. It feels like it's already 96 degrees in Mobile. It feels like it's 100 in Pascagoula, and it feels like it's 95 in Gulf Shores. This heat index isn't going away anytime soon because we still have a little while to go for temperatures to warm up. We'll go with a high of 93 in Mobile, 93 Calvert, 93 Grove Hill, 92 in Pensacola, right along the immediate coastline thanks to a help with the south wind. We'll see temperatures a little bit more moderate than a little bit farther north. Crestview could see temperatures into the middle 90s. Let's start the forecast model at 11:15 this morning, so just in about 2 hours from now. Partly cloudy skies, maybe 1 or 2 showers, but as the sea breeze gets going, we'll see a few showers gradually pop up. The best chance of rain will be during the afternoon, but the chance of rain will be fairly on the low side. Once we get past sunset this evening, any rain gradually fades away. A mild and muggy night, maybe some light fog first thing in the morning. But on your Saturday, rain chances will be a little bit higher than today, but still not looking to be a washout. All in all today, there is a 20% chance that you are going to need your Green & Phillips umbrella. But if you're going to be at the beach and check out the Blue Angels, that rain chance will be a little bit lower. Only a 10% chance of a few showers and thunderstorms, and a south breeze helping keep temperatures a little bit more moderate and a little bit more bearable. Let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in the tropics, because there's not much going on in the tropics. So the Gulf of Mexico quiet, the Caribbean quiet, the central and eastern Atlantic nice and quiet. The only thing that we're really watching is still the remnants of Beryl. Yesterday, if you were watching, you would have noticed that it had a medium chance of redeveloping into a system. Now it has a low chance of developing, and even if it does so, it'll likely take a similar path to Chris. It is nothing to worry about. There are no tropical troubles for the United States. So planning out your day today, this afternoon, temperatures in the lower 90s, partly cloudy skies, only a few showers and thunderstorms, but make sure that you protect yourself from the heat, because again, those heat index values will be rather high. West to south breeze at the coast, water temperature into the middle and upper 80s, surf around 1 foot, low to moderate risk for rip currents. So far today, we've seen green flags, yellow flags, and also purple flags because of the concentration of jellyfish towards Orange Beach. As we move towards this weekend, that rain chance will be a little bit higher, but not a washout. Just keep an eye on the radar if you decide to go down to the beach tomorrow to check out the Blues. On Sunday, that rain chance goes to 40%, 50% by Monday, and then from that point on, it's just the same old song and dance.
Thank you, Thomas. Coming up, it's a national day that will make you hungry. National French Fry Day. We'll fill you in on one of America's favorite side dishes next.
If you can't talk, text 911. Prevent underage drinking before it happens.
For almost 40 years, the attorneys at Padgett and Robertson have been representing people along the Gulf Coast with bankruptcy matters, including personal bankruptcy, Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. Contact our Mobile office today and let us help you answer your questions. We offer free consultations to people who want to discuss their bankruptcy-related matters.
I wasn't hurt that bad in my wreck, but the insurance company wasn't offering me anything.
I'm so glad Janet called. She was in a minor car wreck and was being lowballed by the insurance company. She called and we got her $42,250.
Pass the blue plate for hammier ham, for salads that sing. To perk up a picnic, Blue Plate's the mayonnaise to bring. Pass the rich, creamy mayo that makes good food taste great. Do flavor a favor and pass the Blue Plate.
Judge Michelle Thomason founded the Veterans Court in Baldwin County, knowing that many of our veterans suffered emotional wounds which may have affected their ability to adjust to civilian life. The Veterans Court strives to replace punishment and incarceration with treatment and rehabilitation, because it's the right thing to do.
July 17th, vote Michelle Manley Thomason, Alabama Court of Civil Appeals. Second on the ballot, but first in experience.
Your smile can make a great first impression. Let Dixie Dental put a smile back on your face. With an in-house lab, our doctors, dental assistants, and technicians work together to provide you with a comfortable and natural-looking denture. We work to give you confidence in your appearance. In most cases, your denture can be completed in one day, from simple repairs to mini implants. Dixie Dental Center is the affordable one-day denture service on the Gulf Coast. Dixie Dental Center.
I'm Michelle Sanford. I'm a nurse practitioner at Southern Cancer Center. The best part of my job is the patients and families that I meet and the relationships that we create. Our patients mean the world to us. Let us navigate you from patient to survivor.
Hi, Morris Bart. I just want to say thank you so much. I couldn't have possibly done it by myself.
Thanks, Sheila. Sheila broke her arm so bad in a car wreck she couldn't even pick up her baby. We got her $475,000.
For almost 40 years, the attorneys at Padgett and Robertson have been representing people along the Gulf Coast with bankruptcy matters, including personal bankruptcy, Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. Contact our Mobile office today and let us help you answer your questions. We offer free consultations to people who want to discuss their bankruptcy-related matters.
Join me weeknights for WKRG News 5 at 5.
Well, a lot of you might have been wondering what's going to happen to the Toys R Us mascot, Jeffrey the giraffe. Well, he's been adopted and has a new home.
Yeah, on Wednesday, Jeffrey was moved to his new location at Bristol-Myers Squibb Children's Hospital in New Brunswick, New Jersey. According to hospital officials in New Jersey, Jeffrey's original name was Dr. G. Raff, so it's appropriate that his new home is at a hospital. And during the ceremony, 8 patients were named zookeepers and removed the sheet from a 16-foot-tall, 550-pound statue.
And then they ate a piece of that big cake right there.
That sounds fantastic.
Well, good news for Gotham. Manhattan Edge will be visible tonight. Manhattan Edge is when the light from the sunset beams down on the roads of New York City that run from east to west without being blocked by skyscrapers.
Yeah, the sunset is expected around 8:27 p.m., so gazers should try to find a spot about a half hour before that, but if it's in New York City, you'll likely want to go way before that. It will start at Houston Street and goes near 155th Street. And good news for those who want to enjoy the celestial sight. Skies are expected to be mostly clear, and temperatures should be around 80 degrees. There's your forecast for New York City.
There you go. All right, would you like fries with that? Might as well. It is National French Fry Day.
Yeah, French fries are known as chips, finger chips, and French fried potatoes. They're a favorite side item for meals with everything, as far as I'm concerned. There's a lot of things that this script lists, but it's just a lot of things. It made its debut in print in 1856, and obviously famous with ketchup, vinegar, cheese, everything cheese fries.
Been going strong ever since.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us. See you today at noon.
WKRG aerial footage sponsored by Green & Phillips.